Hi guys, just a quick word about this video. This video is going to go into some detail about my experiences with music in junior high and high school. Originally, my plan was to add a lot of pictures and videos of people that I knew from junior high and high school. And then the more I thought about it, the more that I was concerned about maybe violating people's privacy rights by putting their personal photos and that sort of thing on the web page on YouTube. So if there's any problems with this, please leave me a comment and I will do my best to edit the video so that your personal information is not included. Other than that, enjoy the video. Welcome to Social Justice Paladin, episode 10, in which we're going to be discussing music, and this is music part 1. Just a quick word about my audio quality, and we'll get on with the show. So I've been dorking around with the settings on my mic for weeks now, and I just can't figure out why it sounds so bad. I've looked at tutorials, I've tweaked all the settings, updated the software and hardware, and nothing. I may have to just ask for a better mic for Christmas. So, on with the show. Welcome to Social Justice Paladin, episode 10, which will be about music. This will be part 1 of a 4-part series on music. Now I realized as I was going to publish my last video that these episodes are getting longer. And I know why, because A, I tend to get long-winded, and B, because I have a difficult time narrowing the scope of the topic that I want to cover. My bad. Sorry, not sorry. This can be a problem, however, because in this age of TikTok, people's attention spans just ain't what they used to be. So in the future, my plan is to shorten my videos as much as possible, or perhaps break up longer topics into multiple parts as necessary. And this is going to be one of those topics that's going to need multiple parts, mainly because music has been such a huge part of my life, and I assume that it has been for yours as well. Music Part 1 will cover my beginnings with learning music, and then Part 2 will cover my spiritual journey from teenage pop songs to recommitting my life to Christ and connecting the dots from then to now. Part 3 will cover where I am today at the end of the so-called Yellow Brick Road. And finally, Part 4 will cover the intersection of music and spirituality, what I've learned along the way, and I'll share a few principles for what I believe are good musical hygiene. And so, here is music, Part 1, Beginnings. My first memories of music were listening to the Beatles in the mid to late 1960s. From there, I had fifth grade music in elementary school, which was required.
Is mayonnaise an instrument?
Which was about 1975 with Mr. Adams, and then Mr. Abbott after that. I started playing on the trombone, but then I got moved to the baritone horn because my hands were big enough to play the instrument, and they already had plenty of trombone players. The next year, my very good friend David Means joined the band, and we both switched to the euphonium, which is a 4-valve version of the baritone horn. In terms of study, he was a year behind me, but what he lacked in study, he more than made up for in talent. So by the time we graduated as seniors from Springdale High, he was second chair in the state of Arkansas, and I was fifth chair. Well, there was a dropout that year, so I moved up to fourth chair in 1981. So we were both first band. We studied at Springdale High School with Miss Pat Ellison, who I recently found out passed away on Valentine's Day of 2021, RIP. Also during that time, I began singing in the church choir at First Baptist Church, and I did musicals in junior high and high school. This would lead to many, many years doing community theater, a topic I'm sure I'll cover at a later date. One funny episode happened, though, when I was in ninth grade. After school, I would just ride the bus home from junior high, or I could catch a ride with my brother Dave from the high school. Dave had just gotten a speaking part in Little Abner that year. I was a freshman, he was a senior. So during after school rehearsals, I would sit on the gym bleachers and wait for him, watch them practice, or work on homework, which rarely happened. One day, the drama coach, Ms. Becky Martin, was gathering people up for a crowd scene. She saw me sitting on the bleacher like a lump and she called me over. Well, from that point, I was officially part of the play. And all was well until the first performance that happened during school hours. I went to the junior high principal and I explained to him that I needed to get out of class early and then I needed a ride to the high school. Well, this caused a flurry of confusion because nobody understood why a junior high student was allowed to be in the senior high play. What we figured out later was that the drama teacher, Ms. Martin, thought that I was a choir student under Miss Charlie Pearson, and Mrs. Pearson thought that I was a drama student under Miss Martin. Well, in the end, I got my ride to the high school in time and I finished out the production with the additional added bonus of embarrassing my older brother to heck. Also during this time, I began playing the piano. No lessons, just teaching myself and a lot of ear training. I kept up with this for many, many years until about 5 or 6 years ago when my IBM rendered my hands unusable. But for many years, from high school through my time in the military, I played keyboard for church services and any chance I got. If you haven't seen my video on my most embarrassing day, then now's be a good time to look at it. It's relevant to the topic. But even when I wasn't playing music, I was listening to it. I generally like music I could sing to, and I like musicians that play the piano, like Elton John and Billy Joel. I also liked Dire Straits, mostly Mark Knopfler, Sting, Phil Collins, and an assortment of other bands. In the next part, or the next episode, I'll pick up there. It was about this time that I had my own personal train wreck, and it changed my musical landscape dramatically. I'll give a full explanation in the next part, which is part two, Connecting the Dots, Journey to Now.